Okay, everyone. I want to talk a little bit more about some of the Chapter 2 ideas. Uh, we touched on this at the end of our Zoom session, but when you get to your examples, almost all your examples in the exercises have multiple connectors. And when you have multiple connectors, you have to group them to understand what they're connecting, and each statement is going to have a main connector. So let's look at this. If I just say A or B and C, and let's just do for A, B, and C, Ann is here, Bob is here, Carl is here, right? Ann is here, or Bob is here, and Carl is here. It's even just said like that, it's ambiguous. Do you mean Ann is here, or Bob and Carl are both here? Or do you mean Ann or Bob is here and Carl is here? Okay, and depending on how you group these, they make different statements with different truth conditions. So whenever you have two connectors, let's leave negation aside. Negation we'll talk about different, but these two place connectors that have a left and a right, you're going to need punctuation to show what they are connecting. Okay, right? An or and has a left and a right side, and an and has a left and a right side. Now, does this or connect this A and B? Is that the left and right side? Or does it connect, is this A its left side and this whole thing's its right side? Same thing with the and. Is everything on the left side? Is it connecting like this? Or is it just connecting this B and C? And we clear that up with punctuation. So if I put parentheses around A or B, now you can see that A or B are a unit. This or statement, left side, right side. And then I put the rest of the statement here. Now when you look at this, you can see this and is what we'll call the main connector, because it has a unit to its left side, right? You don't break up these parentheses units. So what's the left side of this and? Well, it's not part of this, it's all of this. And then you have C on the right side. Okay? Now this is going to determine the order when we did our progression to determine the truth value. It's going to determine the order you do it in, because this says two things are true. Ann or Bob are here, one of them is here, and also Carl is here. Okay, which would be a different statement than if you put the parentheses around B and C. Okay, so this is going to determine the order. Just following the text, right, where A, B, and C we take to be true. Okay, let's look at how we look at this statement. Since A, B, and C are all true, right, A or B is true, we take this unit, the main connector, okay. The and statement has true on the left side, A or B, and true on the right side. And true equals true. Okay, so it determines the order. It'll determine these in. Now negation works a little bit differently. Okay, negation without any punctuation between it and a letter. Right, so if you have this, not A or B, not A or B. Okay, there's no punctuation between this negation and what's next to it. So it just negates this. Okay, so this is a unit, and your or is the main connector. This says A is false or B is true. Okay. When negation is next to punctuation, it negates everything within that punctuation. So here, this negation is next to this parentheses and negates everything in this parentheses. It says this is false, and then the whole statement says this is the left side, this is the right side of the and statement. Okay, so you can treat negation as an add-on either to the letter it's next to or to the punctuation it's next to. It goes with everything. It negates everything inside that punctuation. You can treat that as a unit connected to the rest of the statement, right? So when you have not A or B, The not is get a sense of this. The not is the main connector of this statement. It negates the truth value of this. So again, order, right? This or only applies to what's in parentheses, right? So your main connector, do you see this idea? It doesn't apply. The main connector is what applies to the whole statement. This negates the whole rest of the statement. This or only applies to A or B here, and then you've got this negation to deal with. Okay, and you start to visually recognize, okay, with this format, what's in the parentheses is a unit, and then it's negated, so this negation's the main connector. So in this case, let's say again we have true or true, true and true. You determine the truth value of A or B, which is true when A and B are both true, but then you negate that whole thing. So you have not true, which equals false. Okay? Oh, bring it down here. Not true, which equals false. Okay? Okay, so that's a brief thought on main connectors. I want to run through some examples. So my other video is going to be on working through these exercises, and then through practice, we'll get this main connector idea. I'll work a few from set A, and I'll work a few from set B, and talk through the connectors, main connectors, and then order of how you progress through them.